We are here. The final 8 holes of the Highland Open 2024. Presented by Infinite Discs. They did provide one portion of the player's pack, which we had really nice custom stamped Infinite Discs Emperors and Pharaohs for the amateur players, as well as a bunch of other goodies. Special thanks to all the people, and for real, for everyone who helped. We could not put on this event without the people who come and help us set up the course, so thank you to all of them. Right now, this is looking like a race between Edward and Adrian, though keep in mind, this is a one-round tournament. So, anybody in the MPO field could be doing their best to catch up. And at the break, I believe there's a couple people actually a stroke ahead. Here we are, 6th easiest hole, par 4. Long hole, key off the tee, just get some distance, get yourself something out there. The tricky part on this hole is the second shot. There is out of bounds all the way down the left this entire hole. If you go crazy far right, there's OB over there. Adrian just whip cracking that one. But once you get to the basket, the hole actually narrows. There's still OB sidewalk left. There's a pond out of bounds to the right.
Settle.
So this first shot is really a placement shot. The farther you can get, the easier your second shot is going to be.
What do you think the bounce is?
Chris getting up and ripping super fast. Those all should be decent. Nobody out of bounds. As Josh Menne going for the forehand for his second. And that's up there. That was rolling directly to the pond, but I think he stayed safe. Chris just going a little backhand toss up there. That looks like it might be a little short. We got Edward Ward. Look pretty decent. Finally, Adrian, the farthest of the drives. Looks like he's going a little, probably Berg X forehand upshot. I know he goes to this disc a lot.
Why? Where's his...
Oh, dear. Fortunately, that did not kick him out of bounds. That was right next to the sidewalk. What a bid. So our feature card continues to struggle sinking the really deep ones. See if Chris can make a correction. He's a little closer, though. So that with sails. That's going to leave him probably a 24-footer comeback. So here we see where Josh ended up. Little long of the basket, right near the pond, but safe. Can we get a birdie? Now, I will say, by this time of the round, this is a 24-hole round, so it did last a little longer than a typical round, and by now the wind was picking up. So at the start of the day, it was very cold, but only a little windy. As we've progressed, it's just gotten windier. Edward Ward, birdie. So we wait. I think it's Chris getting to his disc. It's clean up. Good par save. Sometimes that's all you need to get a little momentum rolling. It is getting a little late. We do only have 8 holes left. I mean, at this point, 7. As these guys clean up their pars. Now, if you look, I want to go back a moment. Did you see this show of aggression? Pure hatred right here? Adrian, with the unnecessary stick kick right into the pond. You hate to see it. So here we go. Edward, gaining another stroke there on Adrian. We are heading to the 5th hardest hole. Probably, again, like hole 9, one of my top 3 favorite holes. Off the tee, it appears wide open, but there's a Mando to that tree to the right the drone just passed by. It's right around 620 feet. But you can't just go hyzer, hyzer. You really got to land yourself in a good spot here. The hole kind of pulls you to the left. So if you end up behind those trees over at the left, you're not going to have a great look towards the basket. If you get caught up early, you're going to have a long look at the basket. There's out of bounds to the right, so if you turn something over going for big distance, you can end up in trouble. Really big forehand or big backhand hyzer is really what you want to do off the tee here. Adrian going the forehand route. In the past years, he's had some trouble ended up behind that stuff. Not the worst place to be. I think he'll have a look. See what Josh has for us. That's looking decent, but a little turned over. If he had some flex, he probably could have got another 50 feet out of that. Chris just snapping it. So Edward actually turned over and went out of bounds. So you'll see him standing over there by that golf fairway. That golf fairway is out of bounds. Josh, not going to lie, that's exactly what I did on my second throw on this hole. It's just tough to gauge the distance. So this is Edward throwing 3. Looks like a good shot. That is sailing down the hill left of the basket. He'll probably have a 50-footer. See what Adrian can do from his spot tucked up by the woods. Again, this is a temporary course. So holes like this, you don't get a lot of chance to practice. Catches some tree. See what Chris has. He got way up here. Going a little hyzer. And that should be pretty close. He might be in the circle. Great camera work. I think that was Josh Min's up shot. Almost throws it in, but didn't. Adrian from, let's say, 60. Maybe more. Maybe 100. Maybe 200. In the bucket. Walking it in like a champ. Edward could not save his par. And Chris, lone birdie on the card. That is how you play this hole. That'll get him back to even. Edward tapping it out. Or did I say lone birdie for Chris? I forgot. That was a birdie from Adrian. That was a downtown clown frown. Big time birdie from Chevalier. We got 340 feet. 8th hardest. This surprised me. The OB is an optical illusion on this, because it looks like it goes one way, but ends up going another. And we did have a headwind. Usually this hole is pretty easy, just attack with a hyzer forehand or hyzer backhand. Did not see nearly as many birdies this year. Big hyzer. And that should stay pretty close. If you watched the first 2 episodes of this tournament, you'll have heard, but I'll say again, I apologize. Our usual camera person was unavailable. As Chris catches tree, he drops out of bounds. Usually you want to go wide right of that tree or wide left, and he just did not commit. Ends up falling down to the right of the sidewalk. See what Josh is going to do here. See, that's how wide you want to keep it. That's looking pretty good. Again, we did not have our usual camera person. Our usual camera person became sick last minute. And then also some years I do filming for the pad. So we actually had 2 very amateur Hail Mary camera people. So some of these shots we missed. Chris, I think, feeling a little frustration, just going the thumber. That's still going to leave him quite short. Josh is just banned all over the place today. If just a few of those would have dropped, he'd be at least a handful of strokes better. That's probably a good tree save from Chris. That was going to go farther. Adrian for the 2. I think it's Edward for the 2 as well. Just comes right back. That is ugly. That's probably the most unfortunate spit out we have seen so far. Problem with going off the top of the basket, and that is one thing I hate about these trilogy baskets, is I do feel like you kind of rocket off the top if you land on top. Is you start having more longer comebackers than what you really want. We are heading into the 4th hardest hole. Hole 14. Long pad, 700 feet. Again, first shot is a rip. Second shot, this basket is surrounded by a peninsula of out of bounds. So the farther you can get, the better your life's going to be. But this is a tricky shot. There's always a headwind on this hole, regardless of what the wind is on any other hole. You want to go big D, but it's easy to either go too stable or to flip it over. There is out of bounds right. Again, out of bounds way left if you get there, but there's actually a lot of room to the left. But I saw a lot of people overturning their shots today. The back 8 holes, by far the hardest on the whole course. As a course designer, I like to go kind of mix it up. A couple hard holes, couple easy holes, couple technical, couple bomber, couple forehand, couple backhand. I like to mix it up. This layout for the MPO actually played half the holes under par, half the holes over par, which I think is a testament to how I like to run my courses and my events. At about this time also, the catch cam started to run out of battery. So pretty soon here, we will not have any more catch cam shots. We didn't have a ton to begin with. Josh just puts this a little wide. Just doesn't fight its way back in. This is a smash from Chris. So the short pad, I think, is 300 or 340 feet. So this is putting him just short of 400 to get there. And that's near the circle. Good stop. Heiser. Is he going to have enough? Great shot. I think it's a little short. Josh throwing his 4th after the out-of-bounds shot.
Faster.
All these players playing pretty quick today, so I do know we missed some shots here and there. Some of the shots weren't the greatest. Oh, Adrian, so close. That's a good birdie. Like I said, this is the 4th hardest hole, so a birdie here is a stroke on a lot of folks. I believe that's par for Edward. Bogey cleanup for Josh. I think par for Chris. But we are starting to run out of holes here. 5 holes remain. This is the 11th easiest hole. Basically just a 280-foot forehand hyzer. A lot of people do try the backhand, but the backhand, there's a lot more danger. Everything on and to the right of that sidewalk is out of bounds. So to go the backhand route, if you're going the hyzer, you're really bringing those trees into play unnecessarily. But not everybody has a big forehand. And with that tree to the left of the pad there, the backhand Annie doesn't really line up great. The forehand does have to be committed. That was close to the out of bounds. But that's fine. That's a pretty perfect shot. See, that was a good backhand out of Edward. Little low. But there was so much more danger involved in that shot. This is something overstable, I'm thinking, out of Chris. Yes, that fought back. That was an amazing shot. Very technical. That looked like a Nico LaCastro line to me. I am surprised 3/4 of this card went backhand. But most of them are up here. So I guess whatever works, whatever you're comfortable with. Great birdie putt from Josh. Dead center. No band this time. So we see Chris actually went a little long. As we saw from that thumber a couple holes ago, I just don't think Chris's heart has been in this one. I mean, I'm not in his head. I don't know. I didn't really get to talk to him too much. But it just kind of seemed like early on it wasn't feeling it to him. Adrian, that was so close. Well played hole out of those guys. This is hole 16 on the regular course, hole 22 for our boys today. This is year in, year out, the hardest hole on the course. Originally, back in the old BN Open days, we actually played this tee pad about 80 feet closer. For the Highland Open tournaments, I've always moved it back, so you have to beat this tunnel and then fight your way up to the basket. There is out of bounds all the way to the left. Kind of what you have to do if you're playing a golf course and you want to add difficulty. Usually the best way is with out of bounds. And this sidewalk shapes around this property so nicely. It makes setting up the OB pretty easy on most of these holes. That is Veterans Parkway to the right, busiest road in town. That is going out of bounds quick. Any fans of Power Grip USA? That course, or that business, literally right across the road from here, essentially. It'd be great if we could do some kind of permanent course here. You'd have basically a pro shop right across the road, but so far, in my talks with the owners of this property and the parks and golf course manager, not looking promising at this time, but fingers crossed that one day we can make it happen. This is not a great lie for Adrian. This is about where I was. But he throws quite a bit farther than I do.
Nice shot.
Decent shot. It's hard to get close to that basket, so that's the closest that's going to be a circle's edge. See what we got Edward doing. Going. Is that Annie Roller? And that ends, barely in bounds, 5 feet from the basket. Chris, I think, went roller off the tee.
Oh.
So now you're seeing why this is the hardest hole on the course. At this point, Josh and Chris's days are pretty much done. They're just ending this up. Adrian and Edward still have a chance to take it home. That was a perfectly played hole from Adrian. Let's go, Chris. Double bogey cleanup, I believe, for Josh. And this is ridiculous. 3 birdies on the hardest hole. That's why these guys are playing MPO. That was about as well played as that can get. So this is kind of Any good tragedy has a little comedy right before the end. Hole 17, third easiest, 250 feet. There's an OB sand trap if you're way short and right. There's a sidewalk right by the basket. But you can kind of do anything here. There's a tree that kind of blocks your shot, but the forehand is wide open. The backhand straight at is wide open. The best shots I've seen are usually just like a putter or mid-range, just dead straight. A lot of these holes are a little psychosomatic, a little optical illusion-y, or it makes you maybe not fully commit because you're worried about stuff that doesn't necessarily come into play as much as you think it's gonna. A lot of tough putts. A lot of putts without a bounce nearby to make you question your life, make it hard to commit. This hole would probably be second easiest on the course. If players got to practice it more, if they got to get a little more comfortable with it. Adrian, who caught the tree way short. That big 150-foot jump putt, just to park it. See if Edward can get a birdie. Gain a stroke back on Adrian. Great putt. Great putt. Josh just kind of sails that one a little bit. His putts have just been a little high today. Adrian tapping in the par. Josh cleans up the par. And Chris for the tap-in birdie. It's a couple birdies, a couple pars, a couple guys at even, one guy at 10, one guy at 9. We have reached the conclusion of the Highland Open, the ultra super hyper epic hole 18, 800 feet. Hugely downhill. We got OB left, OB right. We got a creek. We got a golf green. We got a sand trap. We got a parking lot. And we've got one of the most iconic views of the entire course. This card's feeling good. We've had good camaraderie. Traditional fist bumps to end it. Edward going first. Solid rip. This is a hole that, again, you want as much distance as you can. But if you go too hard, too straight, you're going to end up in the trees or out of bounds right. You don't want that. If you don't commit, you hyzer, skip across the sidewalk left. I've even seen players throw too far, too perfect, and end up over the bridge way down. So we see Adrian turning this over. That's a smash. That got way down there, but the position's not going to be the greatest. Both Chris and Adrian have just such casual power. Just smashing it down there.
Just doesn't turn.
Now this one's in trouble. Yeah, as Josh finds the out of bounds to the left. Decent shot. That's going to leave him about 80 feet probably. So Chris goes full send. He'll have a long birdie look. Edward. Big hyzer. Probably about 35 feet. This is where Adrian ended up. Main Street behind him. Corner of Main and Veterans. Going backhand. And just leaves it a little low. The golf green is out of bounds, but this is not part of the green. This is just golf fairway. I think that was his yarn he threw, if I had to guess. Maybe it was a lots or something. And he sends it over the top. So any chance of him ending with a birdie are out the question. He's got to make that putt for par. He's only got the one stroke on Edward. And spoiler, the other cards have been playing hot, especially the last few holes. If I thought Chris maybe wasn't feeling it, I don't think anything says it more than that. The casual, I'm done. Let's go. Let's go get some lunch. Josh? Yeah, this last few holes just ate him up. Again, the course gets progressively harder. A lot of numbers gets tacked on towards the end as Adrian just... That was just a miss. That was just a flat-out miss. We see our boys tapping out. Got some bogeys, got some pars. Big number out of Josh. Let's see how it ended up. As we see 10th place Colby Robbins. Nice tie for 8th out of Aaron and Steven. 7th, Nate Corder shooting 5 down. Elliot Butler, Kyle Rowley, Edward and Adrian tying for 3rd place. Evan Bester from ISU jumping up for the 2nd place. And our winner of the 2024 Highland Open was Ethan Fowler shooting a hot 12 down. 70 strokes. Congratulations, Ethan. I'm sorry we didn't get you on coverage.
I know you're all curious. You got
There's
the
some
CTP.
unfortunate timing to the event this year. Thank you all for watching. Stay spicy. I'm just going to let you watch. We will have the final awards ceremony. I appreciate you guys coming out. Everyone who played, everyone who helped, everyone who watched.
Any aces? We'll do an ace throw off after the
Thank you
awards.
for watching. And remember to stay
For $132, if you're in it, you might as well.
spicy.
So starting with MA50, shooting a +4. Chad Sanders. Good job. MA40, shooting a solid 2 down, Marcus Menne. Absolutely good shoot, man.
And he's got an injured knee.
And an injured knee. All right, the novice division, shooting +3, Matt Monsell. Good shoot, man. Congrats. The recreational MA3 division, 2 down, James Babyars. Let's go. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you. Great shoot. Our intermediate division, shooting 3 down, also providing the baskets. Boy, are they doing a playoff?
We're done.
Who won? Ethan Simmons! Do we need to take the, roll it back. Thank you, man, I appreciate it. Great shooting. All right, our advanced division, shooting a monstrous 8 down from the longs. I call him the appeal, Brand Impeel. I heard you, PK. Thank you. Doing great, Brando. All right. We'll do the ace throw off in a minute. Top 10 people cashed for MPO. We're not going to read off all of them, but you can get your cash once we get it sorted. But shooting 12 down to win the professional division 2024 Highland Open champion, Ethan Fowler. for coming out. If there's any flags left, if anyone wants to help, fine. If you want to help Ethan get the baskets loaded. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming out. Spend some money in there, buy a beer. Otherwise, y'all head home, drive safe, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, sir.